This is what they call a tank support vehicle. It's effectively a tank chassis, but with a different weapon system on the top that's designed to support tanks in the urban environment.
It's called the Terminator, a vehicle with the protection of a main battle tank, but one designed to destroy enemy bunkers and infantry positions. Russia only has a handful of these, but it's now thrusting them into battle, sending them into the Donbass to bolster troops as they close in on the city of Severodonetsk, one of its key targets in Luhansk.
Now, the weapons have been around since the start of conflict in Ukraine. We saw them in Belarus in early February being moved into the theatre. And the one unit they have is deployed with the central military districts. And it seems to be this unit, company size, that's been deployed now towards Severodonetsk. So I think what's really interesting is it shows the Russian focus on Severodonetsk, which is the last part of Luhansk they don't control. So I think the real reason we've been talking about this equipment this week is it's a signature piece that shows they're focused on an urban battle in the city, which you can kind of see they're advancing towards now.
The Terminator's been around since 2005 and is based on the hull of the T-72 tank. The version in Ukraine is known as the T2. It carries 3 crew and is armed with anti-tank missiles, a pair of 30mm cannons and a 7.62mm machine gun. The issue for Russian forces, though, is they're only thought to have 9 of them. Moscow developed the Terminator after taking heavy losses in Afghanistan and Chechnya, and there isn't really a direct NATO equivalent. The US Army has the M3 cavalry fighting vehicle based on the Bradley, but it also carries troops. There's also the Striker, an 8-wheeled armoured fighting vehicle, but that too isn't strictly a tank support vehicle like the Terminator. Experts believe Russia's brought these forward to support its tanks in what's expected to be a bitter urban battle.
It's really optimized to suppress the upper stories of buildings, put down a high rate of fire and cover those angles so the tanks can focus on the fight down the street, where they can bring firepower to bear that way without having to look up all the directions you can't look when you're closed down in a tank. So above you, behind you. That's what these vehicles are designed to do. And they should shrug off anti-armor weapons that would destroy a lighter skinned vehicle. There's questions about how vulnerable the turret is, though. And certainly, though, anything that's been able to disable a T-72, whether just by disabling the engine or tracks and things, it'll still be vulnerable to that. Are these more survivable, markedly more survivable than having multiple cheaper platforms? I think that's the big question mark.
Reports suggest Ukrainian forces are continuing to destroy Russian tanks, older T-72s and the latest T-90Ms, many of them with British-made missiles, including Javelins and now Brimstone. The arrival of the Terminator seen as an attempt to bolster the Kremlin's forces for a final push into Luhansk, a chance to claim some small victory in a war that's not gone well. Simon Newton, Forces News. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.